The first thing the girl did after her rebirth was to help the enemy of her former family break the curse. Even though the other party was a ruthless madman, Mikhail, who was restoring his power, regarded her as a benefactor and promised to do anything for her. Little was sent to the altar by her family in her past life, because she had not awakened her water powers in time. This was due to the ancient records. One of the twin sacrifices would allow the other to obtain the full power of water, yet no one in the family stopped him. Even his twin brother watched coldly as he went to his death. As the magic circle activated, Lytle's heart seemed to die as well. He had strived for so many years, yearning for his family's love. In the end, it resulted in nothing. The spirit stone resonated. The master was shocked. What is happening? In the next moment, the golden spirit stone suddenly shattered, and it did not succeed. A boy desperately lunged at him. When he woke up again, Lytle still thought it was a dream. He was clearly dead. But now he was sitting perfectly fine in his bedroom. His brother barged in at this moment. Lytle, how are you feeling? He questioned anxious. How are you here? The other person walked towards him. She actually sat on his bed. Of course, I came to check on your condition. But speaking of which, his eyes turned gloomy. Thanks to you, my schedule is completely messed up. It's a complete disaster now. It's incredibly troublesome. Lytle watched this familiar scene. 3 years ago, there was an assassin who tried to kill Leantius. He fell into a coma for a long time due to protecting him. As a result, Lien's schedule was also interrupted. Could it be that he has returned to the past? Since he is so annoyed by this. At this point, we're in the same boat. Anxious. Haim, don't worry. I will never do anything unnecessary again. Lien was momentarily stunned. What's going on with the person who usually caters to her every whim? Suddenly, another person barged in. Lien, come out, father. Let all the awakened pass. The spirit stone just glowed. Lien is getting up right away. Let's talk as we walk. The people looked at him with disdain. In his past life, he had long been accustomed to such gazes. He was the only one who had never awakened the water power. It's a disgrace to the family. At the moment he was sacrificed, the spirit stone shattered. Then, some kind of energy was infused into his body. Perhaps he has awakened the power of water. Lytle reached out, trying to sense the energy within his body and gather it in her hand. Pure water energy emerged from her hand. He succeeded, but he didn't know whether to consider it a curse or a blessing. However, this time, he decided to abandon the Haim family. A carriage is traveling through the forest. Young master, how are your eyes? The person being asked smiled, as if he were not the one who was blind, and couldn't see anything at all. The Haim family firmly believes that the assassination attempt a few days ago was orchestrated by Bill Say. Will they be willing to help you lift the curse? I don't know. But only water-awakened ones can lift my curse. So I have to try. Suddenly, they sensed something. One curse wasn't enough. What have they prepared for me this time? It seems I'll have to return this grand gift twofold. But what if someone helps you break the curse? He raised his hand. Black power surged from his hand. Then naturally, I'll give them whatever they want. Repay kindness. And kill enemies. That's the creed of Bezel, you see. Haim's host welcomed him. He was unaware of Michael's blindness. He only wondered why this killing god had come here. Sensing the other person's tension, he started making jokes. Why do you seem so afraid of me? The host was stirred with anger. Just say what you want directly. My eyes are blind. It's a curse that even a saintess cannot lift. It is said that only the Haim family's water awakener can undo it. So I hope you can help me. Seeing the other party's plea, his expression immediately changed. It's really difficult. Since it's such a powerful curse, it means that those who help you lift the curse might also lose their lives. Rather than forcing someone to help you, it's better to give them a choice. How about waiting a month to see if anyone is willing to help you break the curse? This kind of response is almost equivalent to a refusal, but he is currently in need of the other party's help. I can only concede. I understand. Then I will keep you updated in the future. Mikhail had thought of this outcome before. Moreover, he doubted whether anyone could lift his curse. They were arranged to stay in a remote annex. The other party was so neglectful that they didn't even send a servant. On the way, they heard that Duke Haim had summoned the water users. Michael ordered his subordinates to investigate the intelligence. Civilians wouldn't affect his daily life. But without sight, he can't accurately use and adjust his power. And the situation could worsen further. He suddenly sensed someone outside the door. Is it an intruder? He casually walked towards them. I really hate nocturnal rodents. Who are you? A woman's voice reached his ears. I'm not an assassin, nor am I a water-type ability user sent by Duke Haim. He smelled a faint fragrance. Because he couldn't see, Michael's other senses were even sharper. Unlike the fishy smell of Haim, it was a very fresh scent. This person is different from the Haim family. Why did you come to find me? Michael Beer say, I can help you with the curse. But if I lift your curse, what can I get from you? Michael snapped back to reality from his surprise. For some reason, he felt that this person might really be able to break his curse. He took the girl's hand. He promised everything. I can give you everything you want. His eyes were frightened by the sevenfold curse. When he turned to the Haim family, the only ones who could break the curse, for help, he was ignored. They even mocked him casually. So not long after, the war launched by Michael nearly destroyed the Haim family. This happened in Liltai's previous life. He was reborn 3 years ago, right when Michael came seeking help for his eyes. In response to Liltai's question, Michael promised him, I can give you everything you want. He suggested observing the curse's condition first. Mikhail said with a smile, feel free. After all, you're the one who's going to lift the curse from me. I have no reason not to cooperate. He reached out. Then I'll untie the ribbon. The way he untied it almost resulted in him embracing the other person. It's tied very tightly. My guard is afraid it will come loose, so it's tied quite tightly. Actually, he could untie it himself, but for some reason, he doesn't want to tell him. After losing power, his senses became exceptionally sharp. The other person's hands are very soft, and the fragrance wafting in keeps stimulating his sense of smell. Mikhail's eyes have turned black due to the curse. The pupils are arranged in a magic circle. Urtai was taken aback. This is dark magic, and it's different from ordinary curses. It consists of 7 layers of binding. As time passes, the curse will become increasingly severe. Nihal asked how you would know. Isn't this Haim guide disgusted by ancient dark magic? When Tirtai was awakening the power of water, He always wanted to receive love from his family, to help his father and brothers. He went through ancient forbidden books. He didn't expect it would come in handy at this time. In any case, we must take action quickly, or else you will permanently lose your sight. He reached out his hand. He began to try to help him loosen the bindings on top. A surge of power erupted from within. Even though it was the first time, he truly used the power of water. He could control this power at will. Mikhail felt a powerful force flowing into his body. Does the Heim family really have such a powerful awakener? Soon, the first seal was released. He felt his eyes becoming more comfortable, but his vision hadn't fully recovered yet. Lierta explained, because if the seals were released all at once, it would put an immense strain on his body, so the rest will be released over 7 more times. Just as he was about to leave, Mihail suddenly spoke, I will wait for you, although I don't know your name. I'm really looking forward to seeing you again tomorrow. The Yeltai nodded and then left through the door. After he walked far away, Mihail picked up the ribbon. For some reason, he suddenly felt a bit thirsty. The Heim family in their past life lost most of their territory due to war, and the one who took their territory was Mihail. Driven into a corner, the Heim family ultimately chose to sacrifice him. They wanted to use his death to complete Lyanxius's power. Unfortunately, the true master is the elf, not him, not his brother. If the Heim family knew this fact, they would never let him go. According to imperial law, the nobles of the awakened family must reside at home until adulthood. As long as he keeps this secret, he can smoothly leave the family at that time. Looking at Lilte, who was extremely indifferent to him, Lyanxius fell into confusion. Lyanxius regarded his sister as his possession, and was certain that Lilte would never leave him voluntarily. So when the once gentle and considerate girl gave him the cold shoulder, he broke down. Even though the after effects of the poison had disappeared, why was she still treating him like this? Lyanxius showed concern, saying she worried about his health, but Litle tore through it. His hypocritical mask as well. After all, without me, you won't be able to perform well. This statement struck a nerve with Lien. He held back his anger. What I mean is, you should go out more during the day. Staying in the room all the time must be boring. That's all I wanted to say. He didn't just walk away. Instead, he stood outside the door, thinking about why the Urtai had changed. Ever since he helped block the assassin, it was as if he had become a different person. Before, he would clearly only read his expressions and try to please him. At that moment, his elder brother came over. The golden spirit stone was brighter than yesterday. Since early morning, the spirit stone emitted a dazzling light, bright as day. But he didn't sense anything. Lien couldn't help but wonder if the spirit stone really changed because of him. The second day arrived as promised. Riltai appeared on time. As soon as he entered, Michael greeted him with a smile. Hi. The girl took off her hat. Good evening, Mikhail. Mr. Bilsey is not satisfied with the report. You're being too formal addressing me by my full name. Then I'll call you Master Bilsey from now on. I would prefer you to call me by my first name. The girl, after only a moment's hesitation, agreed. But his tone remained cold. Mikhail didn't expect the other party to agree to such an unreasonable request. He agreed readily enough. Should I say he's calm or clever? The second counter-curse soon began. He saw Mikhail clench his fist. So he placed his hand on his to comfort him. Believe me, I will cure your eyes. When the girl's hand lightly touched her cheek, Mihail's senses were amplified once more. Her hands were small and soft. As if with a gentle pull, she would gently fall into her arms. And such a small person was actually comforting her, though she hadn't worried at all. The mighty Bilsey would one day hear such words. Would anyone believe it? This is the first time he shows a genuine smile to the girl. Alright, I believe you. The second curse breaking also ended smoothly. When the girl asked him how he was doing, Mikhail finally snapped back to reality. Once again, he was astonished by the power of water. However, what intrigued him was not only this power itself, but also the person, Lurtai, because she is unseen. It gives the girl an indescribable sense of mystery in his heart. Lurtai did not leave directly this time, but sat beside him. That's good. I was worried you might be in pain. He actually worried about himself. He is the notorious Bilsey. But the girl treated him as gently as a lamb. Since going blind, Michael had never felt such an urge to see someone. He suddenly became curious about what Lurta's expression was like when she saw him. He was a notorious villain, after all, yet the girl treated him like a lamb. Lurta's gentle comfort reassured him. She said she would definitely lift his curse. He wanted to see what the girl looked like. I wonder what his expression was like when he faced himself. He pulled the girl's hair. I will definitely repay your kindness. When the curse on me is lifted, could you tell me your name? Lyra was puzzled. You must have already investigated who I am, right? I haven't investigated you, because I want to hear you tell me. I've never heard of a water-type awakener as powerful as you in this world. I suppose you must have reasons for keeping it hidden. So, unless you tell me yourself, I won't pry into anything about you. Lyra chuckled. I promise I'll tell you before your eyes are completely healed. While Michael felt a growing curiosity towards him, Liltai also feels that he is a remarkable presence. Before his rebirth, he had only heard negative news about him. But upon meeting him, he realized he is a gentle person. Could his rebirth have also influenced Michael? Regardless of anything, this is a good thing for him. Liltai arrived at the library. There was a time when he often came here, because he wanted to avoid the blood relatives who extremely despised the non-awakened. Until that incident happened, he couldn't think about it anymore. He had to quickly find books about water, because the deeper the curse, the more complicated the way to unravel it. He suddenly realized that the person behind him was Huiming Haimu. He had 3 older brothers with Lien, big brother Ein, second brother Tyrion, and third brother Huiming. Huiming is close to his age, so they spent a lot of time together when they were young. He was cautious, and loved reading. But one day, Huiming secretly began collecting forbidden books from his father. At first, he didn't have any thoughts. He was simply curious. He followed Huiming to look at those books. Later, while flipping through those books, it was just to find out how to help the family without the power of water. However, this secret didn't last long. His father discovered them. Under the Duke's stern questioning, Huiming pushed all the responsibility onto him. Those ancient books belonged to Liurtai. At that time, he was still young. He didn't have the money or power to collect those ancient books. His father punished him harshly, even knowing the situation. Li Ertai would have preferred to be hit himself, but instead, he punished him with the power of water. It left a huge shadow over him. Since then, he began to distance himself from his close friend, even though the other person always wanted to talk to him. Just like now. The man hesitantly asked if he was doing okay now. Hui Min, how can you have the face to ask me this? He had feared Hui Min because of the banned book before his rebirth. But now he felt nothing at all. It turns out that death can change a person so much. Hui Min wanted to say something else, but he interrupted her. I don't have time for you now. Beard, I've always wanted to apologize for what happened when we were kids. Because I was really worried about you. No. You're only doing this for yourself. You want to ease your guilt. Just make yourself feel a little better. After all, with your personality, you absolutely cannot tolerate being seen as a bad person. Just like that day, putting on a good child act in front of your father, while splashing dirty water on me. Now that it's come to this, you no longer need to apologize. Anyway, I won't accept it. In a moment of desperation, Hui Min grabbed him. He was harshly shaken off. Just continue being your good child. Hypocrite. As for Michael, his guards have not completed their tasks these past few days. He only found out that the elf has awakened. He thought that with the young master's personality, it would prompt him to investigate again. I didn't expect them to accept so readily this time. You've worked hard. Regarding the spirit stones, you could write to father and ask. The guard felt that the curse not only robbed the young master of his sight, but also his intelligence. And yet, he seems quite happy. You seem to be in a good mood. Mikhail's voice was full of anticipation. Yes, a day has already passed. He should be here by now. The guard suddenly realized he should leave. Unfortunately, Michael, who was joyfully waiting for the girl, didn't get who he wanted. Instead, a group of assassins arrived. He grabbed his dagger. Haim wouldn't dare attack him openly. It can only be those sent by the person who cursed his eyes. Although it could be easily resolved with power, Duke Haim would undoubtedly fly into a rage. He must quietly eliminate this group of people. Who exactly is the mastermind behind these guys? The Haim family's defenses cannot be easily breached. Yet, these people have intruded here. Could it be that they want to see Haim and Bill Sam? Suddenly, the sound of the door opening echoes. Mikhail. The girl's voice is filled with questions. He leans back. He closes the door again. You couldn't have come at a worse time. Sorry, please wait for me outside for a moment. I need to clean up some garbage. As soon as he finished speaking, he froze. All the assassins stood still in place. It's Liar Tai. A powerful force of water surged from him. Mikhail's eyesight finally returned. He was struck by Liar Tai's beauty. His face turned red as he turned away. He tried to hide his flustered expression. But the seemingly frail girl recently dealt with a large number of assassins. He simply raised his hand slightly. All enemies were nailed to the spot. The girl worriedly asked Michael if he was alright. He slightly awkwardly removed the blindfold. I'm fine, but wasn't I telling you to wait outside? Lurte poked her head out. But I couldn't just stand by and watch you be in danger. He suddenly noticed something. Wait, your face seems to be cut. After this is dealt with, I'll treat you. Mikhail, already in a state of combat, was extremely excited. The sudden physical contact, coupled with the girl's concerned tone, made him feel as if he were immersed in hot water. He covered his face. The heart is racing uncontrollably. Mikhail didn't want to dirty the girl's hands, so he stepped back. He would handle it. Suddenly, the assassin's body began to disintegrate. Right before their eyes, it turned into a pile of bones. Mikhail thought the girl did it, but he just immobilized the group. There is no magic to be felt around the skeleton. Could it be a curse? Michael thanked him. As for what exactly happened, he will send guards to investigate. Now that the danger has been lifted, Lurte suggested continuing to lift the curse. He nodded. The two began a new round of treatment. Days passed in the blink of an eye. He still had 2 curses remaining. Lil Tai felt a bit strained for the first time. The time taken was much longer than before. Mikhail's eyes could actually see the shapes and colors of objects now. Soon, Duke Haim would hold a hunting tournament. He actually invited this invisible person. The goal is obvious. Don't think he's a pushover just because he's been quiet. He'll crush the Haim family sooner or later. He will eventually trample the Haim family underfoot. With the 6th curse lifted, Michael's vision became clearer and clearer. The girl approached him. Can you see me? Then he saw a sight he would never forget. Liatai's eyes seemed to hold a million stars. The girl shimmered in his gaze. Seeing his stunned expression, Liatai thought the curse hadn't been lifted. She moved closer. This time, I want to completely break the curse for you. How do you feel now? Mikhail shyly covered his face. Lotus started to stammer. I saw it clearly. He didn't expect his emotions to fluctuate so violently. Anyway, I'm glad that you're the first person I see after breaking the curse. And thank you. The Bells family won't forget this kindness. From now on, you are the benefactor of our entire family. Although there's one last curse remaining, I believe you'll lift it perfectly soon. Just as I promised you when we first met. I will fulfill all your desires. What do you desire? Rieltai froze. He didn't want to repeat the mistakes of his past life, although it would be difficult for him to do so alone. But with Michael's assistance, it's not impossible. He formally introduced himself to Michael. My name is Lurtai Haim. All I want is one thing. That is to leave the Haim family. Upon learning that the girl wanted to leave the family, Michael couldn't wait to take her far away. She enthusiastically introduced herself. As you know, I am the heir of the Bilsei family. My father is the Duke of Bilsei. When I realized the girl was daydreaming, it seems like I have been the one talking. Can you tell me about yourself? The girl came back to her senses. My name is Lurtai. I already know that. I mean, do you have anything you like or dislike? Things I like. Probably animals. Do you like birds? It actually doesn't know what it likes. Since childhood, it hasn't been allowed to have any hobbies. I don't even know what I dislike. So, how about this? Several snow-white birds suddenly appeared and fluttered around Michael. These are messenger birds from Bells. Do you like them? Soft, lovely birds landed on his shoulder. Unconsciously, his mood improved. I really enjoyed seeing him regain his spirits. Michael laughed along. So when do you plan on leaving Haim's house? If you wish, you can leave now. His eyes have already recovered. Dialtai, leaving would be a piece of cake. Mikhail, I'm still not an adult. Underage nobles cannot leave their family. If I leave Haim, I will be brought back by imperial law. A slight mistake, and Ilsa might become a public enemy of the entire empire. Don't put on that indifferent expression. You're not happy, Mikhail. He will leave after the hunting tournament. He doesn't want to leave Liar Tai here alone. But since he said it's not convenient to leave now, he will respect his choice. Then I'll take it that you've set your departure for the day of your coming-of-age ceremony. Liar Tai responded affirmatively. I will wait for that day to come. Since Liar Tai stopped being nice to his younger brother, Leonti's mind was always filled with thoughts of him. He even went to ask Lert's maid where he had gone. Has he not sought me out recently? He only got the maidservants. Response that he had never mentioned. Shortly after, as he was nearing adulthood, his father mentioned finding him a partner. The elder brother took out a letter. It was sent by the crown prince. In a few days, he will bring his sister to visit him. Jia thinks he wants you to get engaged to Princess Ninian. Lien spoke coldly. I don't have someone I admire. Ninian is actually a good choice. The princess has liked her since childhood. She's also a very easy person to control. But compared to Ninian, Lertyheim is easier for me to control. But now she feels more distant and unfamiliar to me than anyone else. All Liantius could think about was Lerty. Damn it, what went wrong? The Duke of Heim decided to host the crown prince on the day of the hunt. The hunt will be held during the day. In the evening, a grand banquet was held. The next day, Bertai's older brother returned. He was particularly special among the awakeners of Heim. He hated the black hair of the Heim family, so he permanently changed his hair color. He volunteered to become the princess's guard. He returned after hearing about the changes in the Elven Stones. When the two arrived at the temple, they discovered even greater changes here. Even if the Heim family members did not summon the water themselves, they can still control it. Now, this water that is almost overflowing the room is something they cannot control at all. At this moment, the spirit stone radiates a more intense power. A figure emerges from within. It is a blue-haired boy. Upon discovering the expected person wasn't there, he flew into a rage. Who are you? Where is the one who woke me? The awakened boy was furious at not seeing the contractor. They had never felt such terrifying pressure before, the kind only a monster or a god might possess. Ein, his voice trembling, asked, who are you? You dare question me first? How audacious. He swept them both into the air. I am the 10th weapon of the Supreme God, react. And Urin's first contractor. Tyrion was shocked. Urin is the first head of the Heim family. In your words, I am the being known as the Elf King. I'll ask you once again, where is the one who awakened me? Aang immediately shouted, that child is outside. Do I need to bring him in right away? Unfortunately, he just woke up and can't last long. He will ask to bring someone to see him 3 days later. That is, the day after the hunting tournament. Duke Heim instructed everyone after learning the news to keep the awakening of the Elf King a secret. He did not intend to let Bursai know. On the day of the hunting tournament, Mikhail arrived as promised, but he was still wearing an eye mask. In the distance, Leontius is pulling Liortai aside, whispering something. He's holding his beloved. This makes Michael extremely unhappy. Duke Heim appears. He insincerely asks about his condition. Excellent. I believe this will be a pleasant hunt. The other clearly thinks he can't see them. He even sarcastically wishes him a fun time. Mikhail found it laughable. Heim found the purpose obvious. To make him stand there like a puppet and be humiliated today. For Mikhail, complying wouldn't be difficult. But Leontius's hold on Lerte was extremely irritating to him. That made all the difference. Lerte had finally escaped his brother's side. Recently, Lyanxius has become very strange. He didn't participate in a hunting tournament before his rebirth. He never said anything like that to him. What prey do you want? I'll help you catch it. He just replied, I don't want anything. Lien kept pestering him. Then you should think of one, with no other choice. He said, then help me capture a silver fox alive. Silver foxes aren't easy to catch. Lien heard Jinan laugh. He assured him he would definitely do it, if it were before his rebirth. Lien might have been happy with that, but now he only felt annoyed. A familiar voice came from behind him. He turned to look. Michael was standing not far away, smiling at him. The presence of this person strangely soothed his restless heart. Michael walked over to him. He casually sat down. How did you know I was here? My intuition tells me I would meet you here. But in fact, he followed the scent of Litai to find his way here. Just being by the girl's side makes him feel really good. Biltai is concerned whether his eyes have recovered well. He pointed to the girl's wrist. That was the bruise from earlier when Lyanxius grabbed her. What about you? This must hurt a lot, right? It's nothing, I've already gotten used to it. Don't get used to this. Berta, I hope you don't get used to the feeling of pain. This was the first time someone had said this to him. He had no idea how to respond. He could only stiffly change the subject. Why did you come to see me? Of course, it's because I wanted to see you. In his past life, his family never considered him a person because he was a non-awakened. But Michael was actually able to find him in the vast forest, and comforted him like this. This feeling of being cared for, it's so good. I'm also glad you came to find me. And Michael, who had initiated the flirting with the girl, blushed because of this bright smile. He wanted to invite the girl to dance in front of his rival, and provoke the man again and again. Leontius harbored impure feelings for his sister, and Michael sensed it the moment he saw him. But he didn't speak up. He simply went to find Lurdy alone. He asked him if he would attend the banquet. Leontius had urged him to go to the banquet. He had intended to avoid it, but if Michael was the one inviting him, if you go, Michael will be happy. I want to dance a song with you, but I can't dance. It's okay, I will teach you. Then I'll see you at the banquet. Lertalion is searching for a silver fox in the forest. He heard faint sounds in the distance. As he approached, he saw a clump of silvery fur on the ground. When they heard he was going to hunt a silver fox, his brothers were surprised, because silver foxes are practically extinct. But to please Lerte, he had to catch a silver fox. Maybe then he would return to his former self. A rustling sound came from afar again. He followed the sound. Maybe he was lucky. He really encountered a silver fox. Just as he tried to get closer, a gunshot rang out suddenly. He panicked instantly, because it was agreed to help Leartai catch it alive. Fortunately, the silver fox just fainted, but was still beaten to it. He glared at the newcomer. What do you mean by this? Young Master Michael of the Bilsai family picking up the silver fox. What else could it mean? Liangxia Shame, with normal vision, is actually worse off than me, who is blind due to a curse. Next time, you need to be a bit faster with your actions. Otherwise, I might beat you to it again. As the banquet approached, Lurtai sat by the bed. Next to him was the gown Lianxiu had given him. In his past life, he had never worn a gown to a banquet. Too many things had changed since his rebirth. He couldn't cut his long hair, and the outdated gray gown, and that baby face. It's laughable. The old her would have had no longing for life, but in this life, she also wants to write her own future. The banquet after the hunting competition is about to begin. The princess arrived at the duke's mansion early. She linked her arm with Lien's. It's been so long since we last met. Lien greeted her gentlemanly. I've met your highness, the princess, and thank you for your visit. Your highness, the crown prince. The banquet will start soon. Lien is responsible for hosting the princess and the crown prince. Soon, his brothers arrived. The crown prince looked at Aang. I heard there was a hunting competition today. Yes, the competition ended successfully. The crown prince saw at a glance that he was hiding something. Did something happen? He began to look for Bill's figure. Because the one who made Mihal like this is the crown prince himself. The real reason he came here was to stop Haim from curing Bill. Jemihal was still blindfolded. He was sitting alone on the side. He didn't participate in the socializing. He sighed with relief. It seemed the curse was still in place. After all, he had put in a lot of effort to cast such a severe curse on him. Brother, what are you thinking? It's nothing. I just feel that it's really a pity for you, Sir Lien, to be engaged to me. The princess leaned closer to her brother. She whispered. Lien seems to be in a bad mood today. I just asked if his twin sister would come. His expression turned quite ugly. Isn't Sir Lien's sister very similar to him, and also very beautiful? Even the crown prince knows. Because of this, Duke Haim dislikes this daughter. She looks just like his most favored heir, yet she is incapable. At that moment, the venue suddenly fell into chaos. A person slowly walked down the steps. That is the elegantly dressed Li Tai. The Duke looks astonished. Aang murmurs about her mother. Li Tai apologizes. I'm late. The princess exclaims. She is so beautiful, but she doesn't resemble young Master Lien at all. Hui Min was also very surprised. It's the first time I've seen her wear such a dress. Yeah, and her demeanor is just like that of a perfect noble lady. Lien Xios once again felt the change in Liar Tai. He used to clearly like hiding and suppressing himself. Even if he wasn't treated well, he would still follow him out of a desire for family affection. That look of striving to fit into the family. Instead, it made everyone find it amusing, and thus they became indifferent towards him. But why is he looking at me with such cold eyes now? What is the reason? Lien wants to know why Lier Tai has changed. He reaches out his hand to invite him to dance the first dance, but he is interrupted by someone. Michael stood in front. May I have this dance? Looking at the man in front of her, Lin Sis remembered what happened in the forest. Next time, you'll have to be quicker. Otherwise, I might beat you to it again. When Lin Sis realized this, Bilt had already chosen someone else. A bird with broken wings grows back flesh and blood. It breaks free from the chains that bound it for a lifetime. In the center of the dance floor, Mikhail generously compliments her on how beautiful she looks today. Lierta responds, you too. She senses a strong gaze. The crown prince stands not far away, looking at her with a strange smile. With Mihal, Lyru came into contact with ancient powers before his rebirth. The warrior assassin who broke into the Haim household and Mihal, who lost power due to a curse, as well as the ancient magic that can turn people to ashes. All need to rely on ancient powers that only the royal family possesses. Could the mastermind behind everything be the royal family? Then did the crown prince come today to confirm whether the curse on Mihal is still intact? He looked at his partner with worry. Mikhail, can you dance like this in front of everyone? The culprit who cursed you is here. Mikhail had planned to tell him after everything was resolved. I didn't expect him to be so clever. He noticed it beforehand. It doesn't matter. Anyway, the other party firmly believes I still can't see. Compared to this, Biltai is waiting for you to come of age to compete in the Bilsai. Watching the intimate couple on the dance floor, Lien tightly clenched his fists in anger. He would never let Liltai leave Haim. When he comes of age, he will take the Duke's position. At that time, he can keep Liltai forever. By his side, as the song comes to an end, the princess held on to Lien. His brother and the Duke of Haim were discussing their marriage. Just as the crown prince was about to send the betrothal documents, Lien suddenly objected. Their expressions changed instantly. The Duke was about to rebuke his son. When he heard him say, I want to hold my coming-of-age ceremony before getting engaged, the deeply scheming crown prince didn't get angry. Instead, I helped him out. I understand what you mean. After all, engagements made before adulthood aren't reliable. It seems your son, your grace, is a sincere and cautious man. The princess thought that Lien cherished her, but in reality, he just wanted to ascend to the dukedom as soon as possible, to keep Lier Tai confined to the house forever. After the banquet ended, Lier Tai came to the music room alone. This is where the Duke used to discipline him. He would be beaten and scolded for the smallest things. Just like now, the Duke has called him back here again. Just because he danced with Birsay, he wants him to explain. What do I need to explain? Is there a problem with dancing with him? The Duke was taken aback. Then he started to curse. Don't you know I hate Birsay? Aren't you deliberately using this to show your defiance? Don't think this will make me sad. You are not a part of our Haim family. I never regarded you as a daughter. Such words can't hurt him anymore. That's great. I don't consider you my father either. This is definitely not something Lier Tai would say. After all, he's been trying his best to become a part of the Haim family since he was a child. Do you know what you're saying? Of course, as you've repeatedly emphasized, I am not a member of the Haim family, but you asked me to fulfill my duties to the Haim family, and stay away from Birsay. He laughed sarcastically. Don't you find that contradictory? The Duke was dumbfounded. You know where this is, and you dare to say such things? How could he not know? This is the music room that the Duchess loves the most. It is also his tutoring room. Clearly, he was born alongside Liencius. Yet the Duke blames all of his mother's death on him, simply because he is not an awakened. After giving birth to 3 sons, the Duchess, whose body was severely depleted, stubbornly wanted to give birth to him and Lien. This led to her passing away shortly after childbirth. Is avenging the child who caused his mother's difficult labor and death also the mother's dying wish? If you have finished saying what you wanted to say, I'll take my leave now. The Duke stood in place, unable to leave for a long time. Before his wife passed away, she had urged him to take good care of their daughter. But he broke his promise, and stubbornly blamed everything on Lerda. He is not a member of the Haim family, and will never become an awakened one. In the late-night villa, as the power of water faded away, Mihal's last curse was also lifted. He keenly sensed the girl's low mood, and asked her about it. Lurte lowered her head to avoid his gaze. I went to the training room this afternoon. Mikhail's gaze shifted downwards. He sighed in relief upon discovering that there were no injuries on him. Lirtai seemed unwilling to discuss the topic. He decided not to press further. He looked quite uncomfortable. The awkward young man clumsily tried to cheer up his beloved girl. The party must be exhausting, right? Are you tired? If you're tired, lean on me and take a rest. But the girl looked confused. Was she going to be ignored again? Unexpectedly, in the next moment, Lilith pounced into his arms. Oh no, his heart seemed like it was going to explode. He comforted the girl and asked for a hug, but when she leaped into his embrace, he got so shy that his heart felt like it would burst. Mihal's huge face turned bright red. A girl's voice came from his arms. Do you know? I told Duke Haim that I never considered him family. Is that right? He didn't expect Lurtai to open up to him like this. In that case, the girl's small body was held in his arms. You did well. Don't bother trying to please people who don't respect you. By the way, Lurda, may I ask what those guys did to you? The girl froze. She didn't know where to begin. If she were to start from the beginning. He was abandoned in a remote deep mountain when he was very young. Besides enough food, nothing else was left for him. He lived alone all the time. Although Heimdall did not kill him, he could have left him in an unseen place to fend for himself. A long time later, they finally brought him back. Because he is needed to enhance the Enshi's abilities. If it weren't for this reason, he would probably live there for the rest of his life. Lil Tai is clearly talking about his own situation, but it sounds like he is talking about someone else. There is no turbulence in his gaze. Maybe it would be better if I stayed in the mountains alone. After all, living in senseless punishment and anger, being ignored and mocked is truly painful. Even so, I have always strived for my family's love. For me, it's okay even if I'm used, as long as I can be a part of the Heim family. But now I no longer care. Michael softly called his name. Then he hugged him tightly. Perhaps at first, he only approached him out of interest. Now, he genuinely wants Lil Tai to be happy. I will definitely help you get rid of Heimga. Lil Tai is still unfamiliar with this kind of feeling, but he seems to have found comfort. Thank you, Michael. The man suddenly remembered something. After leaving here, is there anything you want to do? He thought for a moment. Actually, there is. I want to see the ocean once before I die. Mikhail squeezed his little face in dissatisfaction. Silly, is your wish just something so trivial? I will help you make it happen. I swear by the name of Bill Sai, I will definitely come to pick you up on your coming of age day. The day arrived to visit the Elf King at Heim's residence. Ein opened the door. They walked into the sanctuary with anxious hearts. Duke Heim did not expect the Elf King's power to be so great. Ein reported that he had brought the owner of the Elf Stone. The Elf King slowly opened his eyes, looking at Liang Xiuxi. You mean to say, that this guy is the one who woke me up? Before Duke Heim could answer, the statues around suddenly exploded. The Elf King was enraged. This is absolute nonsense. This guy is a fraud. The whole world is shaking violently. It wasn't him who woke me. You actually let an imposter fool me. He's surrounded by lightning. He's condensing immense energy in his hands. I'll kill you all. So the master the Elf King has been searching for is actually Lil Tai. He's the reincarnation of Euron, the first head of the Heim family. The Spirit King, unable to find his master after waking up, was furious and wanted to kill everyone. When the Duke pleaded for mercy, saying that it wasn't intentional to bring back a counterfeit, he decided to give them another chance. He said that the person he was looking for was in the Duke's residence. Duke Heim didn't understand. How could the strongest of the family, Lian, not be the master of the Spirit Stone? Who else could it be? At that moment, someone has come to take Bill back. It's not yet the agreed 1 month time. The guard is curious why he wants to leave early. Michael is holding a white fox. Since the curse has been lifted, it's time to go back. Prepare in advance to welcome Lil Tai. A person is approaching from not far away. I'm here to see you off. It's you, Lianxius. Hal is still smiling. Young Master Lien, thanks to Mother C's care. Every day here has been fulfilling. Seeing him in his arm, holding a white fox. Lien sneered. Taking this too. Of course. Everything that belongs to me. I will take it all. A response with strong implications. Lien frowned. Haru casually bid her farewell. See you next time. Sir Lien, this. I'm afraid there won't be a next time. Not only will there be no next time for me, but my sister won't have one either. Michael turns to him. Hanu will definitely see me again. Time flies. Michael has been gone for months. During this time, Lien arranged his room here. And he always comes uninvited. What do you want now? You are my only sister. What reason do I need to come to your room? We are about to hold a coming-of-age ceremony. Is there anything you want? That is your coming-of-age ceremony. What are you trying to find out about what I want? Can you please stop acting like someone who's about to leave? Staring out the window all day. Every time I see you like this, my mood gets terrible. Seeing Liarut not answering him. Coming closer. Do you really want to leave the Heim family? I'm sorry, but that's impossible. You are born of the Sea Mother, and die as the soul of the Sea Mother. Li Ertai clenched his fists. He recalled what Michael had said to him. You are wrong, Liang Xiuxi. I will never repeat the same life. The princess was searching for Tyrion in the palace. Where have you gone? The next second, the man appeared before him. Were you looking for me? Why do you always disappear without a word? Tyrion was coaxing the princess. He suddenly noticed a strange person following behind the crown prince. Before the princess could finish speaking, Tyrion disappeared again. The crown prince and that person went to the deepest level of the palace underground. Hidden here is half of the Elven King, a royal heirloom passed down through generations. If he could be made whole, he would gain his full power. In that way, he could possess absolute royal authority, no longer needing to be controlled by those awakened ones. He asked the deceased for a vial. The royal family possesses a unique ability. The powers and curses of the awakened are ineffective against him, who possesses purple eyes. He collects the black powder produced by the Elf King. Any living being that comes into contact with this powder will lose their sanity, falling into madness. After the two left, Tyrion finally revealed his form. I didn't expect the crown prince to actually hide another Elf King. On the day of the coming-of-age ceremony, Heim hadn't yet found the owner of the Elfstone. They brought all of Heim's awakened there, but still none resonated. Tyrion didn't sense the same powerful energy from the royal Elf King as he did from the water elf. He had intended to return to investigate. Then, Lien suddenly asked, after Luri comes of age, what are your plans? Ein is curious. Recently, Lien has been too concerned about Liar Tai. The Duke's expression darkened after the coming-of-age ceremony. That child will be of no use then. So I plan to have him leave the family. No, please don't ask to keep Liar Tai in the family. But according to the law, if Liar Tai wishes to leave after coming of age, we have no right to keep him. You clearly said at the beginning that Lur Tai is my possession. Now you actually say he has rights. Ein's reaction to him is even more intense. Tyrion sits down nonchalantly. If he insists on leaving, then disable him. Make it so he can't leave. Lien, all you need to do is break his wings. So he can't fly out of here. Late at night, Liar Tai appeared alone near the temple. Before he leaves, he needs to confirm one thing. I heard that all the Awakeners have come recently. Something must have happened here. As soon as he arrived outside the temple, the main door opened automatically. In the vast temple, a boy is floating in the center. Liar Tai realizes that the man he saw in his previous life at the last moment seems to suddenly open his eyes. A familiar feeling rises once again in his heart. The boy reaches out towards Liar Tai. His voice is filled with joy. You finally came. My master, Miho, crashed the banquet and caused a commotion. And in front of everyone, Lur Tai no longer hid his abilities. Facing the Elf King who called himself his master, he looked bewildered. I don't remember making a contract with you. We did have a binding. He merely touched the girl's arm lightly. The magic mark appeared on it the next moment. This is the mark I imprinted on your soul. Even if you are reborn, I can recognize you by it. We promised we would meet again. Biltai, you are the reincarnation of the first family head, Yolen. The boy grasped his hand again. This time, he read Biltai's memories. The rest of this family is simply unforgivable. They can't even recognize my true master. Instead, they focus their energy on the imposter. It's absolutely despicable. Biltai, as long as you want, I can not only kill every member of the Heim family immediately, but also turn the entire empire to ashes. Look, I'm not joking. Lurtai hurriedly refused. Don't worry about those guys. They aren't worth it. Besides, I'm leaving soon. It seems you're headed to Bill's. Although I really want to leave with you. A long time ago, I split an elven king in two, and sealed them away separately. If I leave here, the seal will weaken. Lurtai asked about the seal. At that moment, a conversation suddenly came from outside. He cannot be discovered. So, he has to say goodbye to the elven king. When the time comes, I will tell you all the details. Although I can't be by your side right now, I will always pray for your happiness. Even though he appears relaxed in front of the girl, his heart is already filled with rage. Heim and his group have no idea what they've pushed away. On the day of the coming-of-age ceremony, Lianxius forced Lurtai to attend the banquet. Wedding question. Why is he here too? We are twins. Of course he has to come. After all, my coming-of-age ceremony is also his. But does it have to be that way with him? He's not a criminal. Why watch him? Who makes him always think so randomly? But this seems a bit excessive, doesn't it? As family, how can we be family? You really know how to joke. When has Huiming ever regarded Lirut as family? The pressure coming from Lien makes Huiming timid. It was I who spoke wrong words, and then fled without looking back. Lien leaned towards Lurtai. In the crowd, his figure seemed even lonelier. Yes, that's how it should be. Like a shadow, staying in the dark. And then, longing for me like yearning for light. The princess stepped forward to congratulate him on reaching adulthood. He smiled and thanked her. The girl looked forward to their engagement ceremony. But Lien's mind was full of Lurtai. Their eyes met. He's so patient, constantly watching me, and using the excuse of protecting him. He's had people following him all along. Today is also his coming-of-age day. The promise made with Michael is today. At that moment, a guard rushed in. An uninvited carriage has arrived outside. It seems to belong to the Bursai family. As soon as the words were spoken, two people walked in from outside. They went straight to the center of the banquet. Mikhail arrived as promised. Fortunately, the banquet hadn't ended yet. It seems I'm not too late. There were only two people, but their strong presence put everyone on guard. The crown prince was astonished. He had no blindfold on his eyes. So the curse on me is lifted. Duke Heim steps forward to reprimand you. How Beals, you dared to trespass into the Heim residence. What is the meaning of this? I'm only here to take something that belongs here. Liansis senses danger. Sure enough, he turned to his sister. I'm here to fulfill my promise. Biltai and I are going to Beerside together. Sorry I'm late. Let's go see the ocean together. He said this while walking towards the girl, oblivious to everyone else. Who allowed you to take him away? A water screen blocked the two of them. Lien activated the power of water. Do you think I'll let you take him? You dare touch my things. I'll kill you. Water solidified into a fortress and shot towards Michael. Just as it neared him, a more powerful water barrier deflected all attacks. Where did such powerful strength come from? Lien was stunned. Lurtai was drenched in water. It was the first time he revealed his abilities in front of everyone. That's enough. Lianxius. Only when the girl completely severed ties with her family did her father and brothers realize the mistake they had made. Biltai easily blocked Lien's power strike. Lien's face darkened. In contrast to him, Michael, protected by the girl, looked quite pleased. Little did he know, Lurtai had already bypassed him. Wait, where are you going? Before heading to Bill's, I still have things to do. He released the girl's hand. Under the gaze of the people, Lurtai walked forward. She eventually stopped in front of Duke Heim. He looked shocked. What was that power just now? Duke Heim. I will sever ties with the Heim family today. I am now an adult. You no longer have the right to interfere in my life. Counting the events from before my rebirth, he has been trapped in this hell for 21 years. Now it's all over. Let's go to the Bill competition. Mikhail took his hand, and under everyone's gaze, the two of them left the banquet like that. There was a light back in Lurtai's eyes. The carriage weaved through the woods. As they left Duke Heim's house, they were relentlessly pursued by those guys. Duke Heim was practically begging him. Those guys were not worthy of Lurtai. He is not anyone's accessory. It was truly remarkable how the girl's voice brought Mikhail back to his senses. I actually left the Duke of Heim's mansion. She touched the girl's stray hair near her ear. Only then did Litai turn his attention to her. I will make you forget all the unpleasantness you experienced at Heim. You just need to be by my side. The carriage stopped. He smiled radiantly. Biltai, are you ready? The girl nodded. He finally saw the ocean he had yearned for countless times. The afterglow of the sunset shimmered beautifully on the sea. The sea breeze gently brushed against his face. He was finally free. Until the sun went down, Biltai still gazed longingly at the ocean. The sky had turned dark. You like it that much? The ocean is even more vast than what I saw in books. More beautiful. I really like it. Thank you, girl. It's so good to meet you. The man's face instantly turned red. He shyly looked away, but only for a moment. He reorganized his thoughts, and walked over to the girl. After Bilta returned to Bursai, I really missed you. The girl reached out her hand to him. I missed you too. He took Lurtai's hand and pressed it against himself. Then let's be together from now on. Next time and the time after that, we'll come to see the sea together again. In stark contrast to the atmosphere between the two, the Duke of Heim's mansion is in disarray. Lianxia sits dejectedly on the floor. He can't figure out what went wrong. Ever since that guy appeared, when he took away the silver fox, he should have realized something was wrong. When Bill invited Lurtai to dance, he should have kicked that man out. Lien was filled with deep regret. Footsteps stopped in front of him. It was Duke Heim. This coming-of-age ceremony was supposed to be Heim's grandest event, but it unexpectedly turned out like this. Lien, did you see the magic that Lurtai used? I've never seen such powerful water magic before. After saying that, he turned around. Follow me. I need to know what happened to the Heim family. They arrived at the temple where the elven stones were stored. It seems the heir of the kindergarten has left. A bunch of foolish guys. I almost wish I could tear you to shreds. Duke Heim begs you to guide us. What exactly is the matter with the owner of the elf stone? How do you understand the last words of the kindergarten? The Duke replied that one day, the true master of the elves will appear. Awakening the elves is to revive the family. No, let me tell you now. When the first family head, Yulin, was alive, the gates to the realm of the elves were always open. Elves could freely enter and exit the human world. Humans who signed contracts with elves could gain a portion of their power. These individuals were known as elf masters. Occasionally, special humans would appear. They could sign contracts with the elf king. These people are called the Awakened. At that time, the relationship between humans and elves was very friendly, until one elven king fell. The gates to the elven realm were closed thereafter. Tyrion suddenly remembered the elven king hidden away by the royal family. After that, all the elves returned to their own world. The Awakened naturally lost their powers. The Heim family possesses power because, thanks to Uran, the first family head you all praise so much, was someone who couldn't become a spirit master even at the age of 17 during the coming-of-age ceremony, just like Lil Tai, whom you all persecuted. Duke Heim looked terrified. Isn't that right? How does it feel to have driven out the first family head you revered? And the heir you always thought you had? You are nothing but a parasite that survives by draining your mother's life force before birth. After you were born, you began to absorb the power of Lurtai. From now on, I will not allow you to use any power. Without Lurtai, you cannot obtain the power of water from me. Duke Heim laughed maniacally. He only now realizes how outrageous his actions were. They must find Lil Tai. Rico is bringing a girl home for the first time. Dad has already thought of a name for his grandson. His son looks completely oblivious to the money. He might as well have "I like Lil Tai" written on his face. The girl has finally left the Heim family. Mikhail softly calls his name. Lil Tai, wake up. We've arrived. He looked out the window. Is this the legendary Bilzy? Michael reminded him to watch his step. Just as he was about to say something, a hearty voice rang out. I've been waiting ages for this. We have finally been waiting for you to come back. Welcome to Birsai. This is Michael's father, Karaman. My father said he wanted to welcome you in person. Sorry, I couldn't tell you in advance. Lil Tai bows cautiously, and thanks him for the hospitality. Michael approaches him. There's no need to be so nervous. That's right, we should be the ones feeling grateful. Thank you for curing the eyes of the only heir of the Bilsay family. I heard my son owes you a lot. The other party's kindness made him relax a bit. You're too kind. Mikhail has helped me a lot too. Kalina likes this girl more and more. My son's thoughts are all over his face, but he's been traveling a long way. Let's go inside. I've prepared some things for you. A spacious and bright room. Everything is complete. You can tell the owner put a lot of thought into it. After the Duke brought her here, he reluctantly pushed his son away. He said to let him wait in the room. A knock was heard. A maid entered the room after receiving his permission. My name is Melilin. I will serve you from now on. Lurtai had heard this name before. In a past life, Birsai attacked the royal family and the Heim family. He single-handedly took down hundreds. How could a killer like him end up serving me? I soon got my answer. Melilin explained that she was here to protect my personal safety. I guarantee no one is better at this than I am. My master valued that, and sent me to take care of you. So that's how it is. Then I'll be counting on you from now on. Let me help you change into some clothes first. Then I'll take you to the courtyard where the master is. At this time, the father and son were already waiting in the courtyard, looking at his son wagging his tail like a little dog. The Duke sighed and strode forward. Aren't we all like this? Father, your answer is truly shameless. Footsteps approached. Michael's expression turned one of amazed admiration. Lurtai was wearing a blue and white dress. She greeted with poise. Sorry I'm late. The puppy was radiating happiness. She looked completely worthless. Father couldn't stand it any longer. Son, you should invite Lurtai to sit down first. Since we don't know what he likes. Mikhail prepared a little bit of everything, but the girl remained still for a long time. Don't you have anything you like to eat? He hesitated and said, No, I have never seen this food before, so I don't know how to eat it. I hope you can teach me. Michael looked at him with pity in his eyes, but the next moment he smiled. No matter what, you can learn slowly. I will be by your side to tell you everything, so you don't have to worry. This is the cake. It has a soft and sweet texture. Cutting a piece and bringing it to the girl's mouth. Lurtai opened his mouth and took a bite. His eyes instantly lit up. After all, a teenager wouldn't dislike sweets. He had a pleasant afternoon. Whether it's chocolate or cake, it's the first time I've ever had them. I didn't even notice the passage of time. Just as I was returning to my room with the maid, I suddenly heard a muffled, painful scream. I completely severed ties with my family at my brother's coming-of-age ceremony, and openly used water magic on Michael in front of everyone. I left the Duke of Heim's residence without a care. However, just 2 days after leaving the family, Heim united with other nobles to pressure Birsai. After all, what was taken away was the strongest awakener of the family across generations. Even the Crown Prince personally intervened. This action angered Duke Birsai. The steward had long been accustomed to it. The Crown Prince would love to see the Birsai family decline, so his intervention was completely normal. To win over such a powerful awakener, it wouldn't be surprising for him to propose to the young lady. The Duke chuckled. Proposing to Lyrut? That's simply absurd. That child has suffered inhuman treatment in Heim. Now that she has finally seen the light again, how can we let Birsai's benefactor return to hell? Olaf doesn't need to send me this kind of letter anymore. And pass the word down. If anyone continues to send such letters, break their hands. At this moment, the girl was lying in bed, unable to fall asleep for a long time. Coming here felt like a dream. Michael, who always cared for her emotions. The approachable Duke of Bilsay. He seems to understand Melilin's words. That's why he says this place is a warm home for him. Miss, I hope this place can become such a presence for you too. Before coming to Birsay, Melilin was kidnapped by an assassin organization. If Birsay hadn't eradicated that organization, he would still be living a brutal life. Melilin looked into his eyes, filled with tenderness. I believe you'll come to love life here too. Lurtai couldn't help but wonder. Such a gentle person. Why was he so filled with rage in his past life, even to the point of murdering the royal family? What caused him to become like that? If only I could find the reason. I should be able to prevent that tragedy before it happens. There must have been some major event that caused the entire Bilsey family to lose their minds. The roar came again. He was sure he wasn't imagining it. It was the same as the one he'd heard in the corridor earlier. Although Melline had said he hadn't heard anything at the time, he'd initially thought it was a wild beast. But the other person had said that no large animals were kept in the manor. Lurte looked out the window. He decided to investigate what it was. But he didn't expect to encounter a guard not far after he left. Miss, what are you doing out this late? I just can't sleep and wanted to take a walk. Then I will accompany you. No need, you still have to stay here, right? It's fine, there are many guards in the shadows. Besides, you are not familiar with the residence. How can I let you be alone? The other party was so enthusiastic that he could only agree for now. Then I'll leave it to you. Thank you. Liutai followed the direction of the sound. It should be nearby. Just when the lead was cut off, he heard it again. That sound was coming from a bell tower. He quickened his pace and walked towards it. He arrived in front of the clock tower, just as he was about to push open the door. Someone called his name. The Duke of Bilsey suddenly appeared behind him. No matter where the girl hid, Hal always found her first. When he felt lost or lonely, will magically appear. And Michael's honesty with Lurte earned him unconditional trust. Just the night before, when the girl followed the sound and tried to enter the bell tower, she happened to meet Duke Kaleman. The investigation plan was abandoned. Although he believed Michael, he was still a stranger to his father. The Duke remained kind to him. You seem to have a lot of questions. Is there something you want to know? If I ask, will you answer me? Well, I could substitute with something else instead. He took out a piece of candy. It's a pity the girl has never even seen candy before. What is this? Oh, I forgot to explain. It's called candy. It's similar to the chocolate we ate today. Would you like to try some? Liar hesitantly reached out and took the candy. He hasn't received many things in his life. Even this small piece of candy makes him very happy. Thank you, no need to be polite. You are our benefactor. But speaking of which, it's almost midnight now. Why are you still outside? That Bertai hesitated. Can he tell him the truth? Since Meline says she didn't hear the sound, then His Grace likely didn't hear it either. But he could try probing. Because I couldn't sleep. Your Grace, were you busy at that mansion just now? I didn't expect the other party to avoid my gaze. Yes, a discovery. The girl kept staring at him. Kalman smiled. Even if you keep looking at me like that, I have nothing more to tell you. He didn't deceive Lurte. But his implication was a refusal to answer the question. After speaking, he raised his hand to signal the end of the conversation. It's getting late. Please take your benefactor back to his room safely. The girl sensed that the Duke didn't want him to stay any longer. It seems he's hiding something. The next day, Lurte was taking a stroll in the garden. Regarding last night's events, Melilin brought a message. The Duke advised him not to stroll too late. He lowered his eyes and replied, I understand. My low spirits were lifted by a voice. It was Michael. I heard you were in the courtyard, so I came over. It seems you like it here, because it's spacious. And it makes me feel very free. I feel good just being here. Michael sat down next to him. I'm glad you like it here. He noticed the candy in Leltai's hand. Where did you get this? Lord Taylorman gave it to me. I ran into him while walking last night. I see. Father might have brought it for you. After all, besides you and our family, no one eats candy anymore. Liar Tai sensed something different. What do you mean no one eats candy now? My grandfather loved candy. Even though it wasn't good for him, he would still carry it with him. That's when he remembered that he hadn't seen Michael's grandfather since entering the build competition. At this time, he should still be testing the team. He noticed the fluctuations in the Urtai's emotions. Are you okay? Your face suddenly changed to a bad color. Mikhail, actually I heard a strange sound yesterday. What sound? It sounded like a beast howling. It seemed to be coming from behind the main house. Mikhail turned his head, not knowing what he was thinking about. Soon he stood up. Alright, Lurtai. Get up, where are we going? Aren't you curious about what's behind the mansion? I'll take you to see it. Suddenly, Melilin blocked the way. No, young master. It's too dangerous there. What if Miss gets hurt? Michael, who was stopped, didn't get angry. Instead, she smiled. Melilin, thank you for your concern. But saying that is like you don't trust me. It makes me sad. I'm sorry, I was being foolish. He took Lurte's hand. I won't let anything happen that will worry you. Let's go. Lurte led the girl to the back house. I hope you won't be too surprised. If anything happens inside, you must stay hidden behind me. Seeing the appearance of Michael's grandfather, the girl finally understands why Birsai declared war on the royal family in his past life, and why he is known for his cruelty and madness. Michael takes Lightai deeper underground. The further down they go, the worse his premonition becomes. What exactly is down here? Suddenly, he is embraced by a pair of warm hands. You don't have to be afraid. Don't I am here. From ahead, came a tearing roar. He looked intently. A man bound in the distance, and Michael showed a sorrowful expression. Say hello. Balerte. This is my grandfather, Alone Bells. That man was actually the former head of the Bells family. But how could he become like this? My grandfather, he has lycanthropy. He was perfectly fine a few years ago. I don't know how he became like this. And we still don't know how to treat him. Logically, upon discovering a lycanthropy patient, they should be immediately killed. But my father only had my grandfather imprisoned. Bloodshot pupils and fangs like a beast. This symptom awakened the girl's memories of her past life. When the Bilsey family started the first war, the royal family and the Heim family who received the declaration of war didn't take it seriously. But as soon as the war began, they were utterly defeated. And the most terrifying figure in that war was Michael Bilsey, known as the demon and death god of war. As people panicked because they couldn't fight against him, the Crown Prince produced a black powder. Anyone who inhaled the powder would turn into a crazed beast. But at that time, the Crown Prince did not successfully drug Michael. Soon after, the Awakener of Water discovered that they could use the power of water to expel the black powder from their bodies. In the previous life, only the Crown Prince possessed this powder. It must have been the Crown Prince who used this on Alongbeals. Alan suddenly starts to go crazy. He yells and is about to charge at Lurdy. Michael pulls him back from behind. He holds him in his arms. Little master, are you okay? Sorry, we heard some noise outside, so we went to investigate. We're fine. That's good, but the male Taoist who came with you. Harmon waved his hand. Put away your inquisitive eyes. It's really annoying. Shouldn't you first pay your respects to Li Hertai? It turns out that the two of them are responsible for serving the envoy of Ilon Birsai. The one who spoke just now is named Hans. The other one is named Andre. They were taken in by Elon Bursa, and were sheltered by him. Mikhail looked at him with concern. Are you alright? You look like you're not feeling well. I'm fine, I just got a little startled. But he actually already had an idea in his mind. What if the Crown Prince used the black powder on Elon Bursa? That must have been through someone he trusted. In other words, one of those two is likely a traitor. Meanwhile, inside the palace, the Crown Prince was agitated about the water-type awakener being taken by Birsai. He even destroyed a city to curse Michael. To think it was undone so easily. I didn't expect this. It was suddenly reported that there were guests. Who is this audacious fool? Coming to see me without even a greeting. The next moment, the door was pushed open. How can you call me a fool? That's a bit excessive. The Crown Prince looked surprised. The other party turned out to be Kaleman Belsai. He pointed a gun at his father, but was caught by the person his son brought back. Just half a day ago, he had stormed into the palace alone. just to seek justice for the girl. The Crown Prince angrily confronted Duke Birsai. It seems you've finally gone mad. Just because you have a water quality awakened one, you think you're above everyone else. I see, Your Highness. It seems you've lost your composure over missing a water quality awakener. Calamand Birsai, if you keep being this reckless, don't blame me for being unreasonable. Such warnings are completely useless to Calamand. If you send another letter asking me to hand over that child, I won't hold back then. Next time, it won't be as simple as just breaking the messenger's hand. Please don't force me to do something worse. Are you threatening me? How could I dare to threaten you? I'm just begging you. I hope that the Bill's residents will no longer receive letters. Watching Duke Bills freely entering and leaving the palace, the Crown Prince was furious. It seems Pedace needs to teach this presumptuous fellow a lesson in manners. Order it. Give my blood position to alone. After returning from the back house, Bill Cirilti fell into deep thought. Michael's grandfather was clearly murdered by someone close to him. Given his strength and the defenses here, it's difficult for strangers to gamble on him. Therefore, Andre, Hans and Melon, the three people he had sheltered, are the most suspicious. Melon noticed something was wrong with him. Miss, what's wrong with you? I haven't looked well since I came back yesterday. If there's anything I can help with, just tell me. We can't delay this any longer. He looked at Melon. Can you take me to find Duke Calamand now? At this moment, the Duke was aiming a gun at his father. Father, I must send you out of this world today. It's been delayed for too long, but after a long time, he still didn't pull the trigger. The grotesque face before him overlapped with memories. Even if he has become like this now, he still cannot bring himself to do it. Calamand actually showed a vulnerable expression. It seems today is not the right time either. He has sensed the source behind him. Because today there is a little guest. Lelt didn't hesitate at all. After greeting, he spoke directly. Although Meline said I couldn't come in, I have something I must tell you today. So I barged in here. Unexpectedly, the Duke just smiled. Meline must be very troubled by you. After all, as he said, no one is allowed to enter when I'm here. Because there's something I must tell you before it's too late. I can cure madness. This statement hit Kaleman like a thunderbolt. You can cure my father. Yes, but the treatment process is quite dangerous. Luji, do you want to believe me? Kaleman was first taken aback. Then he smiled. You are our benefactor, Birsai. Of course I believe you. Thank you for saying that. He walked towards Alan Beers. The opponent started struggling again. Liltai, don't get too close. It will be dangerous. The girl said. It's okay. He gathered the power of water in his hands. Immense energy instantly filled the room. Rest assured, I'll be fine. He had thought he would have to kill his deranged father himself, but the girl's appearance offered a turning point. The power of water gradually calmed the raging alone Bilsey. Before his rebirth, the Heim family discovered a method to purify the black powder. They only needed to infuse the patient with the aura of a water awakener. The madness can gradually be cured. Soon, Michael's grandfather fell into a deep sleep. He shouldn't have another episode today. Halliman exclaimed. Can you really cure my father? This is truly amazing. Can you tell me how this works? Former head of the family. It's the symptoms of poisoning from a black powder. If an ordinary person is poisoned, they'll first enter a state of frenzy, then die within a few hours. But awakened ones will slowly lose their sanity, becoming like beasts. How do you know all this? Lurte can't say he's reborn. I had no choice but to weave a kind lie. I read about it in ancient texts. Only powerful water element awakeners can purify this toxin. I will do my best to cure him. Additionally, I hope you can keep this matter confidential from the servants. Ever since Bert came to Bayer Sajki, he has been continuously surprising him. So you discovered it too. The murderer poisoning my father, right between Andre, Hans, and Melorn. The girl nodded. Although it's still uncertain now, it would be difficult if the spies found out. Okay, I will keep it a secret. How to treat epilepsy is also done according to your method. But I can't come here with you every time. I can't let you face danger alone. I'll assign a reliable guard to accompany you. The next day, as Lurtai entered the tower, he saw his new guard. The Duke had actually sent his own son. Mikhail, so you're the guard the Duke sent. He took Lurtai's hand. To prevent any danger, I will stay by your side. Before starting the treatment, he thought of a new method. Instead of letting him evolve in a manic state, it would be better to divert his attention. Let's try giving him a piece of candy. Sure enough, Ilong's attention was drawn to the candy, and he bit the candy when it was thrown. Good, it's now. This seemingly absurd method surprisingly works well. How did you come up with this method? Didn't you tell me that grandfather likes candy? I believe that while madness can make one lose their mind, preferences do not change. Fortunately, he stays calm when eating what he likes. Mikhail has been observing him. So you know his treatment wasn't easy. Bilt, you are already my benefactor, even if you hadn't risked helping us. Bilsai would always protect you. Why did you still do this? Perhaps it's because, for the people of Bilsai, Lord alone is a very precious person. I don't want to see you sad. Such an answer undoubtedly made Michael's heart tremble. Not long after, the treatment ended. Today's evolution stops here. It will probably take another week for a complete recovery. Before that, let's first root out the spy who harmed the former head of the family. Facing Michael approaching him, the girl did not back away. Instead, she hugged him tightly. Such a straightforward expression of feelings made Michael's heart race. After stabilizing his ex-girlfriend's condition, Lurte had been searching for clues about his poisoning. It must have been something he habitually touched. Just as he was thinking about how to check his room, Michael suddenly appears. Lurte, where are you going? The girl is surprised. Where did you come from? I was originally in the Rose Tower. When I saw you pass by, I came down immediately. In fact, as soon as he saw Lurte, he ignored the servant's obstruction. I jumped down from the tower. Are you out for a walk? I was just thinking about something. Actually, I have a place I want to go. Where is it? I want to visit the former head's room. To see if I can find any clues about the madness. After all, it involves the secrets of Belsai. He worried the other party might mind. Of course. There's nowhere in this mansion you can't go. Just as he promised at the beginning. You can go anywhere. Do anything. Michael took him to his grandfather's room. He had probably suffered from mania for about a year. The girl noticed that the room was very tidy. That ever since his grandfather fell ill, nothing in the room had been moved. At that moment, he noticed the ancient books on the shelf. While at Heim, he never had the chance to read them. Mikhail, may I take a look at these books? Of course. But I can't seem to reach it. He was amused by Lily's cute actions. Let me help you. Their hands accidentally touched. The girl suddenly turned to look at him. Haru. What's with that expression? What's wrong with my expression? Your face seems to be turning red. Is it just my illusion? Lurtai's heartbeat was much faster than usual. He could even hear the thumping sound. But he didn't back away. Instead, he took a step forward. He reached out and hugged Michael. Now it's the other person's turn to be at a loss. Literate. What's wrong with you all of a sudden? I just think you're so great. So I wanted to do something. Is this too strange? Even the dullest person would understand what this means. Moreover, he likes literate. No, not at all surprising. It's just, if you want to do something. How about this? He cupped the girl's face, slowly leaning in. But the suddenly opened door interrupted them. I'm so sorry. You two don't mind me. Please continue. Is that Andre? Michael, who was interrupted, looked quite displeased. He squeezed out an answer through clenched teeth, although he answered with a smile. The girl was thinking about Andre. You're dead meat. Why is it not Maylin who came here, but Andre? This place is cleaned by the three of them in turns. Mikhail, what is that? That's a candy that grandfather used to like. Although we all advised him to quit sugar, he still eats a few pieces every day. Lurtai opened the candy jar. The former head of the family has a sweet tooth. If I use that to my advantage, I can get him to inhale the black powder without arousing suspicion. There's nothing better suited for poisoning than candy. Mikhail, I'm going to see the former head of the family. The girl finally uncovered the real culprit behind the poisoning, and the former head of the family's treatment is nearing its end. Lurtai returns to the tower. Next, I'll go in by myself. Mikhail is worried. He reassures me. It's just that there are some things to confirm. It's okay. Trust me. Alright, I'll wait for you. He first found Andre. When confirming that the former head of the family's room was cleaned alternately by him and Melon and Hans, he took out the black candy, and Andre's reaction confirmed his thoughts. In a past life, Duke Kaleman personally killed his father. He thought that was the only thing he could do for him. Later, Bursai learned that the former head of the family's madness was granted by the royal family, so they started the war. In that war, there was much talk about two assassins. The rumored protagonists were Maylin with her heterochromia and Andre with his cat-like gaze. Among the three, only Hans was not mentioned. This person he had never heard of in his past life. And at this moment, Hans happened to be in the tower. Miss, why have you come here at this time? I just wanted to check on the former head of the family. She is as severe as ever today. But Andre, how did you get in here alone? I need to have a good talk with her. It seems you have a good relationship. We've served the former head of the family together for a long time. So you are also responsible for her meals. Andre is in charge of the film and television aspects. Lightai took out the candy. To be precise, I was asking about this candy. Hans's expression changed immediately. Lightai then asked, I found this in the room of the former head of the family. Do you know anything about this candy? This is the first time I've seen it. It seems you still want to argue. Isn't this candy the one you brought into the Bilsey household? And you did this to make the former head of the household ingest the black powder. He learned through Andre that the candy was prepared by Hans. And even after Alone fell ill, he still occasionally fed him candy. Seeing the plot exposed, Hans stopped pretending. He grabbed a bottle and rushed towards Elon. Bill Salyer tried to stop him. But someone else got there faster than him. Hans was subdued by him, pinned to the ground. Sorry for not keeping my promise. I was afraid you were in danger, so I followed you in. That's right, letting a real person like Lurtai run free is not a wise move. Lord Kaleman, what brings you here as well? I heard from Michael. I was worried you were in danger, so I rushed over. Yes, he shouldn't act impulsively, always thinking he can solve it alone. In Bursai, he always feels cherished. Kaleman grabs Hans. Finally found out who the rat is. Michael picks up a bottle nearby. But what is this? Poison. But people in Bilsey have a certain level of poison resistance. Poison is useless to us. Wait, is this blood? Lurtai speculated. That thing might produce a special reaction. When combined with the black powder, I'll first completely cure the former head of the family, then study that. The power of water condensed in his palm. If all goes well, I should be able to completely cure the former head's madness today. Hold the girl tightly. Beg him not to leave. And Lurtai had just healed his grandfather not long ago. Seeing the girl wrap Aaron Bears in water, Halliman exclaimed, what is happening? Don't worry, my Lord Duke. Next, I will use this water to heal him. He speculated that the reason Heim from his previous life could purify the black powder was because only the power of water could reach deep within the body. In that case, he would have the former head of the family completely submerged in the power of water. Ilon began to feel uncomfortable in the water. Please hang in there a little longer. I will definitely cure you. He kept struggling in the water. But soon, he lost consciousness. The evolution reached its end. The former family head's expression was no longer pained. As the water power dissipated, Talman exclaimed, Father can actually stand up. Michael also anxiously said, Grandfather, are you alright? Ilon slowly opened his eyes. Where is this? Didn't I faint because of my epilepsy? His memories were still stuck a few months ago. What on earth is going on? Who are you? I sense the presence of water on you. Could it be that you are from the Heim family? Kaleman was just about to introduce Lyroot. AI Long interrupted him. Kalman immediately sent him away. Have you forgotten how your mother died? I will never allow anyone from the Heim family to set foot here. Leerda was momentarily stunned. Michael refused, saying, no matter what you say, I will absolutely not send Leerda away. In that case, then I'll leave. What are you talking about? No, you really did step up. Just as you said, I'm not a Bill Sykes person. The one who should leave is me. The father and son are in a panic. Lurtai, what do you mean by this? We'll never let you leave. But I can't let you lose the family you've worked so hard to find again. After saying this, the girl turned and left. Haru was about to chase after her, but was stopped by Aaron. Where are you going? Grandfather, what are you doing? How can you drive away someone who helped us? He used all his strength to cure you. Ilon looked incredulous. What did you say? It was that child who cured me. He completely doesn't remember what happened before. A headache accompanied by vague memories surfaced. During his episode, it seemed there was a voice telling him to hold on a little longer. He will definitely be cured. The voice gradually merged with the girl's face. Only then did he realize what a stupid thing he had just done. Lightai was not unable to understand Michael's grandfather. It was perfectly normal for him to hate himself. After all, Heim and Bursai had always been at odds, and during the tenure of the former head of the family, the mutual hatred was likely even greater. So there's nothing that can be done about it. But he is still very sad. In the end, there is still no place for him in this world. Lurtany, wait a moment, Michael has caught up. He doesn't want to cause him any more trouble. But Michael grabbed him tightly. Lurtany, don't go, okay? You are my benefactor. I promise to protect you for a lifetime. Without you, everything I have will lose its meaning. No matter what grandfather says, you have every right to stay here. Just then, a voice came from a distance. It was Mikhail's grandfather and Kalaman. He is the disgrace of the Duke's house. Just because he did not awaken the power of water, he was trapped by his family. When he awakened again, he unexpectedly to 3 years ago. After being reborn, Li him awakened the purest water power. In order to break free from the family's control, he decided to use the enemy's son, Rebirth, and on the day of his coming of age, he would completely sever ties with his family. He wanted to witness the destruction of the Haim family. What was supposed to be a mutually beneficial relationship unexpectedly took a turn. Michael was originally a notorious villain. In his past life, he was brutal and merciless. Killing was his nature. He waged wars and seized most of the Haim family's land. After spending time with him, Greta discovered an unexpected side of him. Many treasures don't know where to look to become the head of the family. First, we click on the bottom left corner to download the comic. Then, enter Become the Head of the Family in the search box. Then make sure to click the search key on the keyboard. You can see the follow-up. Be careful, if you make a typo, you won't find it. Commentary can never replace completeness. Those who can't wait can check it out quickly. Read it quickly first. To keep the future daughter-in-law, the Duke surprisingly wants to kick his father out of the Duke's residence. Even the son joined in the fun. Let grandfather live on his own. And Elon Beals had already realized his mistake. He caught up with Lurtai, but the girl didn't want to face him anymore. Sorry, I'm leaving now. The one who should apologize is me. What I said earlier was under a misunderstanding. Please don't take it to heart. I just remembered how you have been doing everything you can to treat me during this time. Not only have you helped me, but you have also helped my grandson. I truly appreciate you. So I hope you can give me a chance to repay you. Please reconsider leaving here. Rain mixed with tears slid down his cheeks. The girl's expression is even more heartbreaking. Can I really stay here? Ilon once again realized he had hurt this kind child. He wanted to make him in. Of course you can. As long as you want to. You can stay here forever. I don't know if it's because he breathed a sigh of relief, but Riltai suddenly lost all his strength. He fainted instantly. Nihal stayed by the bed, while the doctor examined him. He probably fainted because he overused his abilities. That's why he collapsed. And he seems to have been constantly tense. Just relax. Things should improve. Michael felt even more guilty. Urtai, just how much power did you overdraw? At this time, Aleph reported. A letter arrived from the palace, although it didn't mention anything specific. They must have learned about Lord Aaron's awakening. AI Long looked disgusted. They must have received news of the assassination's failure. I can guess their reaction without even looking. Aleph spoke again. It wasn't just raining on our side last night. The entire empire was experiencing rain. I believe this was due to the Miss's abilities. She actually unleashed that much power. The girl slowly opened her eyes. Beert, are you awake? Mikhail, what happened? You suddenly fainted earlier, so we brought you back. You should rest first. If you feel uncomfortable, be sure to tell us. After you fainted, everyone is very worried. Leartai just realized that your grandfather is also here. Halliman is starting to hold back his big move. If you still mind that old man, I will expel him in the name of the head of the family. That's right, let grandfather live on his own outside from now on. You can continue living with us. What are you talking about? So, is your body feeling better? Do you still need to rest? If I made you uncomfortable, I will leave here first. You should take a good rest. But actually, Lightai has never blamed him. I should be the one asking you, how is your health? It hasn't been long since the recovery. Are you feeling any discomfort? The girl's warm concern made his eyes well up with tears. No, I'm fine. That's great to hear. Unlike the harmonious atmosphere in Bill's place, the palace was shrouded in gloom at this moment. The queen stormed into the crown prince's palace in anger. Lucas, you idiot. Elon Beers is not only alive, but also conscious. How could you fail at something so simple? It's not my fault. My plan was perfect. It's all because of that sea hag who showed up. So, your plan doesn't end there, does it? I have other ways. This time, I will completely destroy the Billsay family.